No, I don't think. I think it's too little too late. For any Republican who wants to try to create the impression of distance from Roy Moore, that time has long since passed. We're less than 48 hours out. I question how many people in Alabama are sitting around watching a Sunday show today and are going to determine their vote based on that appearance. I think at the end of the day, the chips are going to fall where they're going to fall. It's likely, I think, that Roy Moore wins this thing, and he wins it in part because so many Republicans were just silent and missing in action during this entire campaign.
Kurt, if you can hear me, and you can be heard, please reflect on that.
I think, again, there's this open conflict where Republicans are trying to say one thing and do another. They don't want to be directly associated with Roy Moore, but they're not willing to really go beyond the least amount possible to try to ensure that happens. If any Republican were serious about not wanting Roy Moore to serve with them in the United States Senate, they would be out there campaigning for Doug Jones at this point. The fact that Richard Shelby in that interview said, yeah, I'm a Republican and I have to vote Republican. Why do you have to vote Republican? Why isn't a crime-fighting prosecutor who went after the KKK and social injustices and white-collar crime and Doug Jones, why isn't that good enough for you to say, you know what, this one time between a child sex predator who hangs out at the mall looking for teenagers and a lifetime prosecutor, why isn't that enough to say we should be voting for Doug Jones? If you care about morality, if you actually say that you're a Christian, if you care about facts, this is a very obvious choice to make.
So is Moore at this moment, is he staying inside because he needs to or because he's comfortable?
I think probably both. I think he's most comfortable right now hiding. I think he'd rather have the Donald Trump and Steve Bannons of the world make the case for him because there are a lot of questions that he simply doesn't have the answer for, that he doesn't even want to address. And if the conversation is Roy Moore versus an accuser, he knows he's going to lose that fight on Election Day. If the conversation is Donald Trump and Steve Bannon versus Mitch McConnell, that's a fight that Roy Moore feels very comfortable winning, and he's banking on those two themes to play out for him on Tuesday.
Quickly, Kurt, does a Moore win here erase that negativity of sexual assault, sexual harassment, and the allegations involved in that?
No, no more than it did when Donald Trump won the presidency. In fact, you look at what's happened in our country and in our culture since Trump became president, all of the big-name, high-profile people who have been exposed and have lost their jobs, lost their careers, I think that if Roy Moore wins, it intensifies actually the effort to call out sexual harassment, sexual assault victims to come forward because they will be so outraged that someone like Roy Moore would win, that he would be in the United States Senate while Republicans did nothing to stop it, that there will be, I think, a huge accounting and a reckoning for anyone who is on the wrong side of this. And that's a big reason why I've left the Republican Party and joined the Democratic Party, Richard.
I kind of noticed that, Kurt. Yeah, I was watching that. Oh, by the way, a little footnote there for our old friend from Breitbart here, changing party affiliations. Kurt Bardella, Joel Rubin, no two better to hold up the fort as we had a couple of technical difficulties. We owe you, Kevin Paul Scott, as well as Joyce Vance. We'll get you next time, and we apologize to the two of you for the technical difficulties again.